for all Americans with your vote on Tuesday. I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of massive numbers of criminals that have come into our country. And I will bring back the American dream. We don't have the American dream. We had it. We had it. You know, we also had energy independence 4 years ago. This is all you need to know. Kamala broke it. She broke it. We will fix it. I will fix it. It'll be fixed very fast. And America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence and they're grossly incompetent, let's face it. They are the worst. That's no president. But I shouldn't say that. No, inclusion, I shouldn't say that. You ever hear her? We want to be a unified country. We want to be a unified country. She said the other day, we want to be unified. We don't want to say bad things about anybody, including our opponent. He's Hitler. He's Hitler. You ever hear it? She talks about unity, and then she calls me Hitler. Well, whether we begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country, and I'm asking you to be excited about the future. You're going to be excited about the future. It's such a great area. This whole area is. And I'm asking you to dream big. Again, we're going to dream big, and we're going to make this America's new golden age. It's going to be the golden age. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. We win this state, we're going to win the whole ball game, you know. And we've won it twice before. And we won it quite easily. And by the way, Michael did a fantastic job. He did so well. You know, he stopped the steal. He stopped the cheating here. They didn't stop it in some other states. But he did so well, and we did so well here. I said, Michael, how would you like to run the whole damn thing, right? And then I said, what other star do I get? And I said, maybe my biggest star of all, Lara from your backyard. Lara. I got Lara from your backyard. She's great. She's great. Good couple, too, right? That's a good team. Eric and Lara. On Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough. You can't take it anymore. You're grossly incompetent. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Get the hell out. Get out of here. We got to fix our country. I watched her this morning. She gives these press conferences that last like about 2 minutes. It's the weirdest thing. You know, I get all set. I want to watch something, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President, oh good. She comes onto the stage like for 2 minutes, and all she does is talk about me. She never talks about what she's going to do. Donald Trump. Did you ever see the clip where they go, Donald Trump? The last time she spoke, she mentioned my name like 28 times or something. She didn't talk about what she was going to do, and economically, she doesn't know anything. In fact, what she's proposing, well, wait a minute. You just saw, you were going to go over it in a second, the worst numbers I've ever seen. How good was that? To get those numbers 4 days before the vote was, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now, you would have liked that in one of your races, wouldn't you? But no, to get those numbers, we had the worst numbers, I think, maybe like sort of ever. And they were like 4 days. And I want people to remember it because, you know, a lot of people said, well, this won't affect the election because a lot of people aren't thinking about that. Of course, these people, they'll say, look at all of them. Look at all of the fake news. They say all of that. They always say that, but I think it's unbelievable timing. If I had my choice I think it's perfect. I covered it last night. We were in Milwaukee in the biggest arena you've ever seen, same size as Madison Square Garden. It was packed hours before the event. We could have filled it up twice. And that's Wisconsin, the great state of Wisconsin. And a great Green Bay player, the great Brett Favre, You know, he endorsed me. He endorsed me, and that's a big thing in Wisconsin. He was on the Packers, as football fans know. He could rip the ball. He could throw that ball so hard, so fast. Sometimes it would hit the receiver in the face. He couldn't see the ball was coming so fast. It was a lot of embarrassment, you know. Just ripped the ball into their hands, and he was great. I shook his hand. He had the biggest hand I've ever seen. Now I know why he thought. His hand was like 3 times the size of a normal hand. His fingers were like sausages. I said, "They're the big." I looked at it. I said, "That's the biggest hand." I mean, you know. And so he was born to do that. But you know what? He said, "I've never done this before." He did a beautiful little speech, and he said, "I've never done this before. I've never endorsed anybody. I'm endorsing President Trump because we want him to just do the same job he did." Really nice. Really nice. Never did it before. For these past few years, we've been fighting to take back our country, and it's been a failed and corrupt administration, a horrible administration, an administration that, you know, you like to see like a football coach. He brings something there. He brings a little esprit de corps. There's no esprit de corps. Biden, look at, and by the way, they're fighting like hell, the two of them. Biden said, you stole my presidency, and you're no better than I am. No, it's the same thing. I think the numbers would, I think Joe, maybe, we're going to see on Tuesday, right? But I think Joe might have done better. But Joe, the reports are, look, he hates me. We had a debate. He didn't do too well, but that's okay because, you know, you don't take an election away. He didn't do well, and his numbers went down a little bit. And you know what happened? They walked in and they said, "You're not running anymore. Get out. You're out of the race." This is the President of the United States that they did this. It was a coup. I don't like the word, but it was a coup. But it was sort of worse than a coup because a coup takes a little more time. This was like Crazy Nancy and some others. They walked in. She's crazy as a bedbug. And somebody should look at her Visa stock. She sold her position. This is a woman started off with nothing. Now she's worth $200 million. Do you think she's been honest? No, she has a big position in Visa, right? I think it's Visa, one of them, whatever. Who the hell cares? But it's Visa. And, you know, she plays the market. It's not really playing when you have the information she's got. So she sold her entire position the day before it was announced that Visa's under massive investigation. Now, is the fake news going to do anything about that? I doubt it. Together we have overcome every attack, every abuse, and even 2 assassination attempts. I remember them. And now it all comes down to this. Remember, assassination, nasty, but it really is. I mean, they go after people that are meaningful. They go after people that are meaningful. They go after people that believe in making other countries pay for what they do. We're tired of being ripped off, consequential, I guess, is the best word. They seem to go after consequential presidents, and I didn't know it was such a dangerous profession. Being president is a very dangerous profession. Who would have thought? But if you look at race car drivers, I have a lot of race car driver friends. You know, I own a job down the road in a place called Charlotte. Have you ever heard of it? And it's been such a pleasure. But we have a lot of the race car drivers are they're members, and it's been a great place. I'd like to be able to come here sometime and actually play at the course. And the beautiful, I bought a whole big thing there years ago, and it worked out beautiful. It just worked so beautifully. But I was talking to somebody, and they were talking about a consequential president, and then all the race car drivers, and I said, let's see, and I asked somebody, and you got to be careful when you talk about this subject. You don't like to say, what's the level of death when you drive a race car driver and you're talking to a race car driver, right? So I did a little, so it's like 1/10 of 1%. And the bulls are a little bit more, 1/10 of 1%. President, it's a lot. That percentage is like up there, high. It's probably the highest thing you can do. Nobody told me this when I was thinking about it. Nobody told me this. But I wouldn't have changed my mind because we're going to make this country greater than it's ever been before. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had the strongest border in the history of our country. The strongest. Should I bring down my favorite chart of all time? Bring it down. Bring it down. It's my favorite chart of all time. That chart I love. See, right now I'm looking over there. Well, if I was looking over there, I'm gone. If I was looking there, I'm gone. If I'm looking there, there was only one place I could be looking, and that's exactly right there. That's the only place. If I was looking there, no good. And I was looking there, no good. Had to be here, because the lunatic was right there. And I looked over here at the chart, which was right here. I looked over, ping. Can you imagine? I love that chart, Tim. I love that chart. I love it. Even if the numbers were bad, if those numbers were terrible, if I was like in one of the lines to the right, look, it's like an Elon Musk rocket ship. That's what happened. So that was my last day in office. That was the lowest illegal immigration we've ever had. I had it fixed. It was beautiful. And that included trafficking of women. They traffic, mostly it's women, by the way. I hate to tell you that, but it's women. 325,000 children are missing. Can you believe during their administration? Nobody talks about it. They should be talking about it. That is a human tragedy. 325. Think of what that is. That's take your biggest stadium and multiply it many times and load it up with children. That's what we're talking about. 325,000 children are missing. But look at that. That's the lowest it's been. All those people that you read about that got killed most likely wouldn't have happened. And all that guy had to do is he could have gone to the beach. All he had to do is leave my people. They were doing an incredible job. We have guys like Tom Homan and fantastic people. And the Border Patrol guys are fantastic. They just endorsed me. They said, he's the greatest president in the history of our country. I said, does that include Abraham Lincoln and George Washington? To them, yes. But the reason they said it is because to them, there's nobody that ever did the border job like I did. And I'd call them all the time. I'd bug them. And I said to them in front of a big audience, I said, how many times, she was the border czar, right? She was in charge of the border. I said, how many times did she call? And they said never. So in almost 4 years, I looked, there were like 10 officials behind me. They all gave me this beautiful endorsement. And they've always endorsed me. They've endorsed me every year. Every year, they were hoping, but they just endorsed me. They're great people. They want this country to be so good. They hate, it's easier for them to let people go in. Just go ahead in. But they don't want people to go in. They love the country, the Border Patrol, and ICE too. ICE is incredible. But I said, how many times did she call? Sir, she never called. I said, never? None of you guys? We never received a call. She never went to the border. And it's, in my opinion, the single biggest problem we have. I mean, to me, I rate it bigger than inflation. Inflation's terrible. And you saw the horrible numbers we had. The worst numbers I've ever seen, 12,000 people. We had 12,000 jobs. Nobody has 12,000 jobs is nothing. We had 12,000 jobs. It's the worst numbers I've ever seen. I'll fix that. But when she allows 13,099 murderers. These are people that are incarcerated for murder, many of them more than one murder. They're now roaming our country. We have no idea who the hell they are. You know who knows? Our local police, our local law enforcement, and they're going to work with us because we're going to get them the hell out. They know everything about it. So we're just 3 days away from the greatest political victory in world history. But it only happens if you get out and vote, okay? You got to get out and vote. You got to do that. I haven't felt this much heat on me in a long time. That sun is brutal. They'll say, what happened to you? You got really red. The next one, I'm doing another one. Can you believe I do 3 or 4 of these a day? Can you believe it? But this one I like. This one I like. You know what she does? She does like one and then takes a day off. I say, wait a minute. So we've gone, I think it's 62, 63 days, something like that, in a row. I can't believe I've kept my voice. The big thing is you don't want to lose the voice Because if you lose the voice, it's no good. It tends to not do well. It tends not to play well for those people in the back. But you know what? 62, 63. And you know who knows that? I call them the women of North Carolina. Where are they? Where are those women? There they are. There they are. But where are the women that I know of North Carolina? I can't believe. Where are they? Huh? Oh, they're coming later. Oh, I've never seen that before. Whoa. They are the most incredible. They've been to 259 rallies. Huh? There's no way they're not here. Where are they? There. Where the hell are they? Put up your hand. You dress so differently today. They've underdressed today a little bit. No, but I think it's like 259 or something. They've been incredible. Oh, there they are. Okay. I'm wondering, where the hell are they? Okay, good. It's good to see you all. You're scattered. I've never seen you scattered before. I put everything on the line for you, and including my life itself. I mean, in all fairness, I don't talk about it, but I did. And I need you to do one thing. We don't want your money. I don't want any money. I don't want anything. All we want is one simple thing. Get out on Tuesday and vote. Because we can't take a chance. Too big to rig. We got to make it too big to rig. We can't let anything happen. With your help, we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to make America great again. We're going to make it great. We're going to make America great again. Yesterday was announced that Kamala's economy added only 12,000 jobs. Nobody's ever heard of that. You know, look, you've been doing this. Even if you're not into that world too much, I am. But, you know, you see 250 jobs. We were doing badly this month, 250. It's usually like 200, 250. Sometimes you have 300, 400, 12,000 jobs. I never heard it before. I've never heard of that number before. It's automatically, you know, you have automatic growth. One of the worst jobs report of all time, they say. I mean, how good is that if you happen to be running against the people that did that, right? It's only good for one thing. Same thing with the border. The border is horrible. It's death, it's destruction, it's the ruination of our country. It's only good for one thing. If you happen to be running against the idiots that allowed this to happen. Open border. It's the only thing I can think of. There's no other reason. There's no other reason it's good. We lost nearly 30,000 private sector jobs. Think of that. And the jobs created were mostly government jobs. No, that's easy. You just call up, hire 100,000 people this month. You know, no, we don't want that. We want private jobs. Along with nearly 50,000 manufacturing jobs were lost in a single month. I've never heard of these numbers. These are depression numbers. I hate to tell you. Don't worry, I'll fix it. Don't get scared. Don't worry, because I know what to do. Under Kamala's catastrophic agenda, more than 100,000 manufacturing jobs have been wiped out since just the beginning of the year. It's not; these are numbers that are crazy. 150,000 Americans joined the unemployment rolls in October. That's really, you know, I mean, I've got your speaker. I've got a lot of big shots from North Carolina down here. They're looking like I had nothing to do with it. He said, I had nothing to do with it. In October, but nearly 250,000 people dropped out of the labor force. That's 250,000. They dropped out. They gave up. They basically gave up looking for a job. We cannot take 4 more years of this calamity. You may not be able to take a couple of months more of this. This isn't this. In fact, now that I see these numbers, I think I'm not going to do this. Goodbye, everybody. I'm going to go to the beach. I didn't know I didn't know. Joe Biden is Herbert Hoover. Turned out, I always said I'd hate like hell to be Herbert Hoover. I would. That was 1929, the Great Depression. These are Depression-type numbers. 100% of all net job gains in the past year. This is another beauty. Have gone where? Do you know where? To migrants. 100% of the job openings have gone to migrants, taking jobs from more than anybody else, and you haven't seen the numbers. And I think your speakers should ask Washington for those numbers because they're really bad. You know where they came from? African-American jobs. They've taken the African-American jobs. Migrants coming in illegally have taken African-American jobs. People that have done a great job. They've worked there for 20, 25 years in different places. And to a lesser extent, Hispanic jobs, but large numbers of African-Americans. It's going to probably be announced right after the election. They should be forced to announce it before the election because I'll tell you, they won't get one African-American vote. They're letting these people come in by the millions, and they're taking jobs of African Americans. And you're going to see it right after the election. They'll announce it. And they did another thing. They had 818,000 jobs that were fake. They were fake jobs. They were made-up jobs. They were fraud. If I did it, they'd throw you into the penitentiary for 20 years. Crooked Joe Biden. They don't call him Crooked Joe for a reason. I mean, it's a reason they call him that. He's a crooked guy. And she knew everything about it. They created 818,000